Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, I have another amazing guest. He's somebody I've seen speak online. I've seen him speak on stages all over the world. And he's always the person who adds value and has lots of great energy. And I couldn't wait to have him here today. He is an IT expert, an IT engineer. He consults and also helps companies increase their sales. He's actually helped lots of restaurant owners increase their sales on site, how to sell delivery using social media ads, and he just loves business in general. He invests in them, he buys them, and he works all over the world. Right now, he's focused in France, and just couldn't wait to talk to him. So please welcome business investor and also IT expert, Mr. Matthieu Kaczmarek.
Thank you. Thanks for the energetic start, and I will be more than happy to share with you the journey and answer your question.
Awesome. Well, once again, thanks for being here. I know you're all the way from Belgium right now, and it's awesome being able to talk to people across the world, and something that technology really gives us that opportunity to do. And I'm sure for an IT expert like you've known this kind of world for a long time. So
yeah, and it was quite difficult. Like before the COVID happened, like when I was dealing to buy businesses in France, a lot of time it was like, hey, let's do a first meeting in person. And so you have to take your car or the train or the plane to reach out to the people. And right now the logic is really the opposite, let's say, because we do like 2-3 meetings online, and then when we are close to a deal, yeah, let's then get physical contact, let's say, just to meet. So it's really pretty cool to switch that, because you can do much more, because you can meet much more people virtually than just taking one day there and one day there. So
well, once again, thank you very much for your time and being here. Now, for somebody who buys and invests in businesses, you also have a IT background. So can you share with us that journey of yours? How did you go from IT to restaurants to business buying?
Yeah, it's I say like that, it's a bit strange, but there is like a line between all of them. So yeah, I have an IT engineering degree from France. I moved a lot in several countries during my studies, and I was always interested by business. Like from my 15 years old, I was looking at TV show speaking about economy and company and how they grow and how they fail and everything like that. So I was really interested. And so when I did my IT engineering school, I took a specialization in how to run a company. So it was really, it's always there. And so I moved, yeah, at the beginning, so I got IT engineering consulting. I've been freelance, and I have my own company in IT. But also I was always interested also by marketing. So that's how I landed in the restaurant world. And so yeah, during the COVID, just before everything was frozen, at least in France and in Belgium, where everything was locked down, I planned to launch something for the restaurant to increase their sales on site. And like 15 days later, they decided about lockdowns and everything. So we have to pivot everything from the offer just to be relevant to the market and help a lot of restaurants, because they never did any delivery. If you're in a small town in France, you don't have Uber Eats, Deliveroo, or whatever the platforms that you can have in the big cities. So they didn't know how to do it, and we helped them.
Cool. Something that you told me was that shocked me, right? Because I knew a little bit of your background about being an IT expert and whatnot, but then you also told me that you're a really extreme right brainer. Yeah. Those two things don't usually go together. So tell me, if you were a right brainer, and you are, what was it about IT engineering that kind of intrigued you to take that as a career path?
Yeah. For a lot of people, IT engineering guys are just left brainer, really logical and everything. But my way of thinking IT engineering, and when I was developing softwares for my clients, it's always like, okay, we have this issue, and how do we find a solution? So it's the creative process behind it that interests me more than coding the solution, let's say. So it's really like taking an issue and going to a solution that makes me really feel like alive. And that's why also I love business, because you have always issue and you need to find solution. So it's the creative path. It's not coding by itself that makes me the most happiest man in the world.
So do you find that you have an advantage over other IT experts because you do have that right brain mindset?
I don't know if it's an advantage, because some might be more like very, they nailed the technical issue maybe easier than me. But it's like, sometimes when you speak with a business owner or with a program manager that want to decipher the software for them, it's easier for them to speak with maybe someone like me that can speak their word and I can speak the IT word also. So it's sometimes difficult to communicate between those two words. And so it's what sometimes makes me useful.
Well, in the reverse aspect, when it comes to business, are you able to access that type of thinking as an IT person and use that as an advantage for business as well?
Yeah, sure. Like I think it was like a year ago, we have seen a company that sell frozen food and deliver it to the homes of people. And the company was like 36 years old. The owner was 80 plus. And so everything was still with paper. And so the people that called the client to take the order, so they pick up the phone and they have their pencil and they write everything on the sheet. And this sheet is not even through internet, through fax. I don't know if we still have that. Sent to the office where they can split the delivery, and everything was manual. And I was like, with my business partner, I was like, if we can at least do 50% of computation and automatization through the process, we can save money a lot. Or we can use people for another thing, sell more, and create new offers, let's say.
One of the things that you mentioned at the very beginning there was that when COVID hit, you had to come up with another way of really connecting with businesses and helping restaurant owners increase sales and bring up the bottom line. So tell us about the mindset about pivoting over obstacles, overcoming challenges, and how do you approach those kind of things?
Yeah, I mean, COVID was really like, you have no choice. It's not like you can decide to change or not change. You have no choice. The business is locked down. So either you die or you adapt. And my wife is specialized in change management. So I have quite a good knowledge about how the brain thinks about the change. And at the beginning, you are really like rejecting it. And after that, you have some phases and you can, let's say, put it in place. And so it's really interesting to have this background, because then you can really have a change mindset where you can see, okay, the future is not good, or the situation right now is not good. And also my creative man, as I said, when you have a problem, I have a solution. So for me, it was really fun, to be honest.
No, you've been all over the world. You've worked with people all over the world. Yeah. What have you found is the most common thing that you deal with, and what is the main difference that you have to kind of deal with when you work in different countries?
I think the main common thing is that most business owners don't learn. So they start their business and they think they do good, but they don't look for more, or they try to do it by themselves. But sometimes you need some external advice, let's say, to grow. Like you and I, we go through some seminars and we attend online Zoom to grow our mindset, our skills. And most people don't do it. I can see it in US, I can see it in Europe, I can see it in Asia. So it's really all over the world. It's like you go to school, you learn, and when you have finished to learn, it's over. You never learn anymore. And yeah, so it's the most common thing and the most different. Yeah, for me, my English is not perfect, at least the pronunciation, my accent. And so sometimes it's quite difficult to connect deeply with people because they don't fully understand, or I don't fully understand them. But never mind, I still do business with many people. So,
so
and you can still interview me.
When it comes to businesses, I know you now invest and buy businesses.
Yeah.
And you don't just focus on IT businesses or just focus on restaurant business, but general business all over the place. How do you assess a business, and what gets you intrigued that goes, you know what, this is a business I can buy and it has a lot of upside to it?
Yeah. So the first thing is that I'm looking especially for business owners that want to retire. It's a huge part. The estimation is 20% of businesses in France will need to be sold over the next 10 years. So it's a huge market. We talk about more than 300,000 companies. So even myself, I cannot feed myself only. And so that's the first criteria. And of course, we look for companies that are making profits. Maybe not for the COVID period, let's say, but if they recovered from COVID, we are looking for that. And the third thing is that, is it like a business that we can buy 2, 3, 4 and kind of create like a merger between all of them and making it more important? And some bigger players that will not be interested in a business that make 1, 2, 3 million euro or dollar, whatever, in revenues, are maybe interested by a group that make 10. And so you have another level, and that's the exit strategy behind it.
No, when it comes to businesses, there's a lot of things that people do that they think is normal and logical, but you go in there and go, you know what, once you change this thing, once you change that little tweak, you're going to increase your sales, or it's going to make your business so much more profitable. What would you say are some of the most common small tweaks that business owners can do to really change their business outlook?
I think it's really like taking the time to see your business and putting you aside of it. Like you take a week and you really like look at it on what's really working. Does the figures match? Does make sense? In fact, do we spend too much or not enough on marketing, or how does the lead come? And really taking this week, let's say, off of your business and really thinking about how you can improve, you can really find a lot of things. And that's what we have, because when we are from the outside and we look at a business, we say, hey, but it's not logical, or it's not the best way, because we have seen implementation or different implementation in other businesses, either competitors or other industries. And so as I'm very curious about business, yeah, it's quite natural for me, let's say.
Now, you've worked with a lot of clients. You yourself have done many different companies and businesses yourself. Do you have a story where you can share where it was one of the most biggest life-changing moments for you? Either it's a big failure or a big success. Is there a story that you can share that everybody can go, you know what, I can learn from that?
Oh, I was not ready for that one. Yeah, I work for, so I was working for a big retail firm in Belgium. They have over 800 stores, which is very good size compared to the size of Belgium. And so they sold their branch that was specialized for animals. So either you have a dog, a cat, or a fish, everything was there, the food, the toys, and everything for the animals. And so when they sold it, they called me on this company that was sold, and they decided to do a new implementation of everything. But when you have IT processes, it's so huge because you have years and years of investments that have been done, and changing a way of thinking, changing a way of that your provider come in. And so it was very, very expensive for them. So sometimes when you want to change everything, you might break down the toy, let's say. And that's also something that we look when we buy a company, is that we want to change almost nothing at the beginning. Really take 2-3 months to sit down and see how it goes, and not coming with, hey, do this and that and this and that, because the company is already profitable. So even if it's not perfect, it's profitable. And when you take time, you can see, okay, maybe I can bring this change easily or not easily, or it's not a good idea finally. And so it's something that I learned like years ago.
One thing I really admire IT experts and also people who are in business is their ability to be very patient and also being willing to listen without getting frustrated. I'm sure everybody had that experience with their IT people where go, hey, can't you just flip a switch and this will be fixed and completely be okay and all that kind of stuff? But it's more difficult and more complex than that. And then the same thing in business. When you go into a business, you go, you need to change this, you need to change that, and people may or may not want to listen. So for you, how do you deal with your clients or deal with that difficult customer who comes up to you and go, no, I just want to do this, and you go, no, that's not how it's done, and you just listen to them? And how do you kind of deliver that message so that they're in line with what you suggest?
I think the main thing is that to not get frustrated by yourself, let's say, because if you go in the defense mode, like, hey, we can't do this in 1 week or 1 day, or just this new feature, which means a lot maybe in IT processes or business processes, because you need new provider or new clients. Just this is not maybe just this. And so if you don't get frustrated as a first site, it's really important, because then you can have this conversation on, okay, you have your own thinking. I can bring you another vision of the issue, and we can discuss, because you have impact on this, that, and this. And so it's really getting this conversation that helps me to rationalize, let's say, the request, or manage the time for the delivery. And so that's a big thing, talking to people and not just sending emails. That's a big failure.
So big no is never say just this is a bad thing to say.
Yeah, we just want this new feature, or we just want a new provider for this. And just like right now, you have a huge issue with the production chain, where your components can come from all over the world, and you have issue either for the transportation, or you have COVID that block the manufacturing, and so it's not produced. And we will just have a new provider in another country. Yeah, but it means a lot. Maybe you have tax issue, maybe you have IT issue, maybe you have barcode issue. I don't know. There are so many things that can come up with just changing provider.
Now, you also have experience helping owners with their social media ads and getting more exposure and getting more clients coming from online with advertising and marketing. And lots of people, you know what, you just have to post something online, or you just have to do a video, but it's more complex than that. Could you explain to us a little bit more as to what is that process to increasing that visibility when it comes to online marketing?
I think it's make your difference visible in either in your communication, meaning when you have a regular post on social media, either Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, LinkedIn, and finding a way to express your difference to make it catchy for the people. So if it's internal procedure, it's sometimes difficult to say, because clients will not see the difference. But there is always a way to express it, either it's your values or what you provide and what the price is and how you price it. Maybe sometimes transparency is a good thing. And so you need to bring these differences through your communication, and that's make it more appealing. And also you need to understand how you come from someone that doesn't know you to someone that heard about you to someone that is interested maybe by your product or your service to someone that will say, hey, contact me again, and become a client and become a customer and then a client to buy again and again. And so it's really like hey, we want to communicate everywhere and we want to have new clients and we want to book the restaurant. And it's like, hey, maybe nobody knows about your restaurant since ever because you always go with your clients. So first we need to spread the word that you are there. Then we need to express to those people that they have some interest to opt in maybe for a newsletter where they can get the menu online and they don't have to call you or go on a website and things like that. So it's really understanding this funnel, let's say, on how you communicate at each stage.
Mm-hmm. Now, for somebody like yourself, you need to be right up there in technology. You have to be right up there in business with knowing what's going on. In order to keep your energy up, you also have to be able to take care of yourself as well. And
Yep.
people go, you know what? There's not enough time to do all of that stuff. So what is your daily routine or your morning routine so that you can kind of hit all those categories in your daily life?
Yeah. As a right brainer, the word routine is, but I usually wake up around 4 a.m. And I work until like 6:37. Then I do like the breakfast and go to the change myself and go to the office. And just this makes you win 3 hours a day, meaning on a week, let's say a 5-day week, even if for entrepreneurs it's more like a 6 or 7. You gain a lot of time. And so when you know how you manage your time and how you manage this energy, and sometimes you need a break. Myself, I cannot focus myself more than 30 minutes on something. So I need to walk or I need to have a drink of water and just exchange with people. And so it's really like understanding how you process your energy and when you have your face up and your face down. To manage that. And I end up my days around 10 p.m. and I go to sleep directly. And I have a chance that I can sleep in a few seconds. So I go in my bed and it's over.
Oh, that's awesome. It's like sleep time. Okay, done.
Yeah, that's almost that.
Now, can you do the same thing when you're tasked to go and talk to people, big meetings, big events? Can you just turn up that energy right away?
I think it's a bit more difficult because it depends on which language. If it's in French, I'm really more fluent. And so I have very less stress. In English, I need to force myself a bit more because it's not my mother tongue. And so it's sometimes difficult to find words and think about something and express it in another language. So it's a bit difficult in English, but when I'm in French, yeah, I can really go to a level of energy where I'm like focused on creative tasks, let's say, and shifting the gear and speaking with people and making impact and making negotiations. Sometimes it's a good thing to have good energy that time.
Got a quick question here. Have you ever pretended not being able to understand English?
Not really,
at a negotiation or meeting somebody new, pretend not to know a certain language just so that you can understand them more.
No, I don't do that because I really like to speak with people and I'm quite transparent on that. Sometimes I just don't understand the word. That's another thing. So I need to work around with a question to really make the point. But it's really like, I don't want to pretend to not understand because also it's like devaluating me. Yeah. Like, hey, it doesn't make the effort to understand us. So sometimes when there is specific words in some conversation, of course, I will ask for more information, but I will not say, oh, I don't speak and listen to it. So.
When it comes to increasing your mindset, I know you mentioned it before, where most businesses don't learn more. They open up their business, they go about their daily thing. But for yourself, I know you're involved with a lot of different things. You're involved with a lot of different groups as well, and you constantly feed that mind with more knowledge. What would you say is one of the most life-changing things that your coaches or a group has given you that you go, you know what, that's what I needed to do?
I think the biggest shift for me was like in 2017. I attended a seminar. It was supposed, so the title and everything, all the communication was about business. And when you are in the seminar, you have a lot of things about mindset. And at the time, I was IT consultant, I was earning a lot of money compared to my family in the past. And it was a really limiting belief for me. Like, hey, what are you complaining? I was earning more than my father at the end of his career. And so, and he has kids, I had no kids, what I'm complaining about. And so I was really short blinded, let's say, on what's possible in the world and how money works. And this seminar really turned something in my mind, like, hey, you can have more and it's not an issue. Money is not an issue when you know how to get it and how to spend it and how to preserve it. And so that made me a huge shift. And from there, I learned a lot, because for the first years, I was like more like every business owner, short-term minded. Hey, I have IT engineering, let's do IT consulting like everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Now, for somebody who's as successful as you, what is your passion right now? What makes you get up in the morning, motivated, ready to go?
Let's say traveling, because I like to change my mind, see other people, see other cultures. And from a more like day-to-day stuff or weekly stuff, I love going to movie theater. So, and all kind of film, but not Marvel. Which is strange also for an IT guy, like, hey, you don't like Marvel and stuff like that, but I assume it.
My last formal question for you is, if you have one message for the entire world to hear and remember Matthieu for, what is that one message?
I would go with, like, you can have more if you give yourself the permission to grow and to understand that the limit that you see is just how much you know now, but there is another world around it that you don't know because you never have been in contact with or you never heard about. And just finding people that will bring you on the way that you want to really go, it's a massive message that should be shared.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, those are all absolutely good words to live by, something I totally agree with. So thank you very much for that. Now, before I let you go, I got a few fast questions for you. Just give me the first thing that comes to mind. You're stranded on a desert island. You get to eat one food for the rest of your life with no consequence. What's that one food?
I will go for mango.
Very, very healthy. You mentioned that you love watching movies and being in film.
Yeah.
If you were to be casted in a dream role or a dream movie, what movie and role would you want to play?
There is two, in fact. One is the Ocean 11, 12, and 13. So I will be in the 14th. And Jason Bourne, of course.
Awesome. Nice. Let's say you got casted into one of those movies and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then you go, you know what? I want to get to know my cast members. You know, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, they're all there. And you're tasked to host an event for them. What is that special dish that you can serve for them to feed on?
As they're both American, I would go for a French thing. I don't know, some French specialties that are really good, but there is so many of them that it's difficult to answer on the point.
If you had an opportunity to win the gold medal in the Olympics, what event would that be?
You mean which sport?
What sport? Yes.
I would say golf, because I want to be better at that. So.
If you were in the circus, what role would you play?
I'm the chief, the one that brings every artist on the stage, and
the masters of ceremony.
Yeah, the master of ceremonies. And I played that role like years ago, and my mom sent me some pictures the other day about that because I was requesting. It's something that it's a huge memory for me. Like, I was 10 or 11 years old, and I played that role. It was wonderful.
Do you have a special talent that not many people know about?
Oh, special talent. I don't pretend.
And my last question is, what is success like? But before you answer that, give me a number from 1 to 3.
2.
1, 2. So how is success like a notebook?
What does it mean?
A notebook?
No, what?
How do you relate success to a notebook?
Oh, well, when you learn, you need to write to make it more anchored in your head, and so notebooks are really important.
Awesome, very well done, and thank you for that. So that's how success is like a notebook. Now, if there's anybody who wants to get in touch with you, know more about what you do, or ask you for your services and whatnot, what's the best way to contact you?
I think you can go to my social media. Maybe you can post some links to there. But basically, with my first name and last name, you find me.
Awesome. And do you have any last words that you want to share?
Thanks for welcoming me in your show, and I will be more than happy to share with your audience, and also share with you more when we see each other again soon, somewhere in the world.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for all the great stuff that you shared today. And for everybody else out there, please connect with Matthieu. Lots of great knowledge, lots of great stuff on social media as well. And just connect with him. You never know you never know where those relationships will go. Well, so thank you very much. And until next time, today is the day to unlock your peak potential. We'll all see you later.
Thank you. Bye.